Hello and welcome to AlphaNutrition, where we bring you the latest information on health and wellness. In this video, we will discuss addiction and whether it is hereditary or not. Addiction is a complex issue that affects millions of people around the world, and understanding its causes can be key to preventing and treating it. In this video, we will explore the role of genetics in addiction and provide insights into how you can take steps to protect yourself and your loved ones. Addiction is a multifaceted problem that can arise from a combination of factors, including environmental, social, and genetic factors. While environmental and social factors can play a significant role in the development of addiction, research suggests that genetics may also play a crucial role in determining an individual's susceptibility to addiction. Studies have shown that genetics can account for up to 60% of a person's risk of developing an addiction. Researchers have identified specific genes that may be associated with addiction, such as those involved in regulating the reward pathway in the brain. These genes can affect how the brain responds to certain substances and can increase the likelihood of addiction. However, it's important to note that genetics is only one factor in the development of addiction. Environmental and social factors, such as trauma, stress, and peer pressure, can also play a role in the onset of addiction. A person's environment and upbringing can also affect their genetic expression, meaning that environmental factors can interact with genetic factors to increase or decrease the likelihood of addiction. While genetics can play a role in the development of addiction, it's not a foregone conclusion that someone with a family history of addiction will also develop an addiction. There are several steps you can take to reduce your risk of addiction, including educate yourself, learn about the risks and consequences of addiction, and the factors that can contribute to it. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions. Maintain a healthy lifestyle, eating a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, and managing stress can all help reduce your risk of addiction. A healthy lifestyle can also support good mental health, which is an essential factor in preventing addiction. Build a strong support network. Surround yourself with supportive friends and family who can help you navigate life's challenges. Having a strong support system can help reduce feelings of isolation and provide a buffer against the stresses of life. Seek help if needed. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, seek professional help as soon as possible. Addiction is a treatable condition, and early intervention can improve outcomes. To understand the link between genetics and addiction, we need to look at the role of genes in the brain's reward system. The reward system of the brain is responsible for producing feelings of pleasure and motivation in response to various stimuli, including drugs. This system is regulated by several neurotransmitters, including dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Genes can influence the function of these neurotransmitters, affecting the reward system's response to drugs. Studies have shown that certain genetic variations can increase the risk of addiction. For example, variations in the gene that produces the dopamine transporter protein can increase the risk of addiction to drugs such as cocaine and amphetamines. Similarly, variations in the gene that produces the mu-opioid receptor can increase the risk of addiction to opioids such as heroin and morphine. However, it is important to note that genetics is not the only factor that can influence addiction. Environmental factors such as stress, trauma, and exposure to drugs can also play a significant role. In fact, studies have shown that environmental factors can be more influential than genetics in some cases. So, is addiction hereditary? While genetics can influence the likelihood of developing an addiction, it is not necessarily hereditary. Having a family history of addiction does not guarantee that an individual will develop an addiction. Similarly, an individual with no family history of addiction can still develop an addiction due to environmental factors. Note that addiction is a treatable condition. Treatment can involve a combination of medication, behavioral therapy, and support from family and friends. Seeking help for addiction is the first step toward recovery. In conclusion, addiction is a complex issue that can arise from a combination of factors, including genetics, environment, and social factors. While genetics can play a role in the development of addiction, it's not a foregone conclusion that someone with a family history of addiction will also develop an addiction. Environmental factors can also play a significant role in the development of addiction. While addiction may be more likely in individuals with a family history of addiction, it is not hereditary. Seeking help for addiction is essential for recovery, and treatment options are available. In conclusion, while genetics can play a role in addiction, it is not the only factor. Environmental factors, such as upbringing, social and cultural influences, trauma, and stress, can also contribute to the development of addiction. By taking steps to reduce your risk of addiction, you can protect yourself and your loved ones from the devastating consequences of addiction. It's important to note that addiction is a complex issue and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. However, with early intervention, effective treatment, and ongoing support, individuals with addiction can manage their condition and lead fulfilling lives. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, don't hesitate to seek help. There are many resources available, including support groups, counseling, and treatment programs. Ultimately, whether addiction is hereditary or not, we all have the power to make choices and take actions that can reduce our risk of addiction and improve our overall well-being. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.